I learned Apollo hardware almost became far more than just moon rockets. I started sketching the Apollo Applications project, which most people know today because it eventually became Skylab. NASA was looking for ways to reuse all the technology they had already built after Apollo. They wanted to keep about 40,000 people working while finding new jobs for Saturn V rocket stages, command modules, and all the engineering that had gone into the moon program. Instead of letting that hardware gather dust, they imagined turning it into something entirely different. Sitting on my desk was a little model showing that idea, basically a Saturn V third stage with a command module attached. And that gave us plenty to talk about while the sketch came together. A lot more ideas were on the table before Skylab became the winning design. I had been reading more about the proposed lunar bases and deep space missions than I had about Skylab itself. NASA even looked at the idea of astronauts living inside a cleaned-out fuel tank before deciding that approach was not practical. The station we eventually got used the Saturn V third stage instead. Talking about Skylab also brought back one of my earliest memories. I remembered hearing that Skylab was going to crash back to Earth, and as a kid I thought that sounded terrifying because all I heard was the word crash. We talked through it together and remembered that the re-entry happened in 1979, with debris falling across Western Australia and into the Indian Ocean. Funny how childhood memories leave out most of the important details. Somewhere along the way, the conversation wandered. As it usually does, I was straightening up the ends of the drawing while we drifted into talking about getting older. I laughed about younger co-workers who have never heard of Skylab, Gilligan's Island, Evel Knievel, or Weebles. My watercolors needed a spritz. Texas Art Supply had been closed for the 4th of July, and the local fireworks stands were quieter than usual. That's one of the things I enjoy about these morning sketches. We start with a random object, learn something new, chase a few side trails, and by the end, there's a finished drawing and a conversation that feels like friends sitting around the table with a cup of coffee.